Well, this is awesome sitting down with you.
Yeah, thank you for the insight. You guys look great.
Likewise, yeah. So do you.
Yeah, always.
Friday night, you know, all dressed up and know where to go. You know?
Sure. So I'm Bad Juju.
And I'm J Bone.
And this is The Mummy and the Monkey.
That's great. I'm Grimgordy.
I'm Janet Kay.
And together we host the Mummy and the Monkey's Hairy Scary Hangout.
Yeah, on our YouTube channel on most Friday nights. We're also on a few television channels.
Yeah.
But anyone can watch us anywhere on YouTube.
Yeah, and so we know about you through Kenji and PMN, Public Media Network, out of Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Yeah, he's really good people. His show's awesome too, Frankie, and the videos he works on.
Yeah. So you guys have just been inducted into the Horror Host Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a wonderful ceremony. It was held in Indianapolis, Indiana during Horror Hound weekend. And the Horror Host Hall of Fame started, I believe, in 2011. Is that right, Grum?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Oh, okay. So, a group of horror hosts and fans started that up in 2011, and they've been going strong ever since. And every year they induct a handful of hosts into the Hall of Fame. And we've inducted people in the past. We never thought we would be the ones getting inducted.
Nope, didn't see it coming until this year. We're like, oh, okay.
So it really happened very fast, because this summer they're like, hey, you're a nominee. People can vote for you. And a few weeks later, hey, you're inducted. Go to Indiana for the ceremony.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I remember seeing you guys were posting like, oh my gosh, people have voted us in. We're on the list. So that's really awesome to have people
we're really
supporting you.
Thank you. Yeah.
And now that's it. We don't have to do anything else. We could just stop donations and well, I mean, what else is there to achieve? Probably a bigger audience. That's for sure.
Yeah, we're just trying to grow our audience and keep going.
Yeah. And you have a podcast, or were you talking about starting one? Did that happen?
We do have a podcast. It's called Living the Scream, the behind the scenes of the Mummy and the Monkey, where we talk about our mummy. We do it about an hour or so, but like the first half is usually about our, we do reselling too, like on eBay and other platforms. Janet does it more full time. I just kind of play around with it, you know, as a sort of a side gig. But we both got together and we find cool treasures at flea markets and garage sales, estate sales, things like that. And the second half we talk about behind the scenes or what's going on with the Mummy and the Monkey. But we do that in our alter egos, you know, in our human forms. So,
yeah.
Switch up there. But we do it on the set here, so you know.
Yeah.
We try to have that almost every week, as well as the Hairy Scary Hangout.
We're more consistent with the Friday night show than, except for tonight when we're not on. But who cares about that? Because this could be aired later. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yes. But like Janet said, this you know, we do it as pretty often, at the Friday show. So.
And you guys are usually live on. Well, I mean, you're streaming on YouTube and the PMN, I've caught you live and reruns. So, but how long does it take you to usually make a full episode, counting skits and if there's any editing and things like that?
So we do air the show live. It's streamed. We're sitting here live on Friday night. So to put the rest of the parts together,
time, but like the skits we edit beforehand. You put the sound effects in the movies beforehand. So, like, how long does it take you to edit the movie?
Depends, like it depends how long the movie is. Yeah, but I give it like 2 nights a day. It's like after my normal job in the day, I'll sit there at night and in front of the computer for, I don't know, maybe some 4 hours, sometimes 5, and tinker with certain things. Depending how long the movie is to edit, because we like to chop our movie down to about an hour, which means we have a 2-hour show. So 1 hour, if you put it back to back, would just be movie time. And the other hour is just us, showing skits or talking with the audience, in the live chat. Because like we do stream live, the only parts that are pre-recorded are skits and the movie. Everything else we do is stream live. And once it's over, obviously it's up on in the archive. And now but but the live aspect is gone by then. But yeah, so
Yeah, 'cause we're hosting it live and we interact with the audience. We do the shout outs.
yeah, we have
Yeah.
whatever time we can scrounge within a week, within like a 5 to 6 day period to put a new show together. So, that could be anywhere from, I would say on the low end, 8 hours, and then the high end, maybe,
10 or 12 maybe.
12,
Yeah.
10 or 12. Yeah.
It's definitely
Yeah.
a process for sure.
Yeah, but we've got a little groove going, so we know I know what time I need to get things done, and so does Janet. And it's just like you guys. It's like a 2-person project. I mean, we don't have any staff or anything
Yeah.
like that. It's up to us.
Yeah, I don't think many horror hosts do have crews. We talked to Mr. Lobo, and he's the only one we've come across so far that has an actual crew. So, but he's been doing it for 22 years,
Yeah, Mr. Lobo's cool. He's definitely a little more established. Yeah, and there's a handful of other hosts out there, like probably Creature Features. They're
Oh, yeah.
they're on the
Vince Mondal, yeah.
those guys
Right.
are awesome. I'm
Yeah.
sure
Yeah.
they've got and like Svengooli's got a crew. Joe Bob Briggs, the big names.
Yeah, yeah. Do you want to ask anything? Okay. So how long have you guys been doing your show?
About 9 years.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, we started the Mummy and the Monkey in late 2014. That's where we first got the idea to do it, and we were trying to figure out like what we should call the show. And it's funny because it was October of 2014. You wanted to get some video for your Grim Gory character for a Halloween special you were putting together.
Yeah.
And we were at like a little town square area. They were doing a trick or treat thing for the kiddos, and everything was decorated for Halloween. And we thought, well, let's film there. That's cute. And I brought some candy to give out to the kids, and we were dressed in character. And we have it on video somewhere in our archives. The kids were going, "Mummy, monkey."
Oh,
So that night we're like, maybe we should call it the Mummy and the Monkey.
I'm going to call it the refrigerator and the bone spur, but Mummy and the Monkey made much more sense.
yeah.
It's not obvious what we should talk about. But it was nice to hear it roll off the tongues of someone else, to hear how it sounded, and you're like, yeah, that does kind of go good together. So I mean,
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things, like it's so simple, but it's so perfect too.
I went through a bunch of other ideas too, but I wound up, you got to kind of do that. But yeah, we've been doing it for 9 years as the Mummy and the Monkey, and it's been great. I mean, it's kind of how we met as humans, and then I met you in character actually the first time I think I met you.
I think so. Yeah, we met in 2013, just like a little bit before we became Mummy and Monkey. But we met on the set of another hosted show that we were helping out with for public access cable. It was called The Daughter of the Ghoul. So they called it The Daughter of the Ghoul, hosted by Janet Decay. And the guy who put it together was just a big fanboy of like the Ghoul and Big Chuck and Little John and those other hosts. But
Cool Artie.
the name was confusing because I got a lot of crap for it. A lot of people
well, to this day, people ask you if you're really Ron Swede the Ghoul. This guy, it was a Cleveland show called.
He was on in Cleveland and Detroit. Yeah.
Big in Detroit, but people still from time to time ask you if you're his daughter. It's like,
Oh.
Yeah. No. And then people, they would say, "Oh, you're writing the Ghoul's coattails," and it's like, I didn't name the show. I'm just helping as the host. It's not my production.
I don't think Ron even had any kids.
He did.
No, so unless he's a daughter you don't know about.
No.
Uh,
But yeah, so that show ended up canceling after a year, and he told us that he wanted to work on different kind of videos, like wrestling videos and sporty stuff. So we're like, okay, well, maybe we could do like our own thing and learn video editing and put our own show together.
And that's what we did because the internet opened that up for everyone. You don't have to wait to get approved by anyone or audition for something and hope you get it.
Yeah.
You can just do your own thing if you have an idea, no matter what it is, if it's horror hosting or being a musician or a comedian. You can just do it now on the internet. And it's opened up a whole new possibilities for everybody, and we thought we'd just take advantage of that, but we had to learn all the stuff behind it first, the technical stuff. We never even thought about doing a live show.
And there were a lot of firsts because I'm Cleveland, Ohio's first female horror host.
Oh,
You're the
right.
first
That's right.
8-man horror host.
I guess, yeah.
Well, that's exciting, that was one of the, as a female horror host, I wanted to, like, it was so cool that you were the first female horror host there.
So
So
thank you.
that's really awesome. Yeah. Girl
So
power.
Cool power or girl
Cool
power.
power. There you go.
Cool girl power. So in Portland, did you have horror hosts out that way?
All our
review?
Yeah, all our horror hosts were people, the big ones like Sven Gulli and stuff. So growing up, it was never, well, I didn't grow up here. I actually grew up in the Four Corners, but I only had access to the bigger ones, and we were actually, one of the questions is like, who are your first horror hosts?
Oh,
Well, we both grew up watching Big Chuck and Little John
well, sorry, I'm saying we both grew up in Cleveland, Ohio.
in Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay.
So,
The
so
Northeast,
kind of narrow it down a little bit there.
the Northeast Ohio area. Yeah.
And we had a ton of horror hosts to choose from, actually, from the 60s into the 90s. But yeah, you grew up watching Big Chuck and Little
Big
John.
Chuck and Little John, and then the Ghoul later on as a teenager.
And I go back a little further than her.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of an age difference here. So I was exposed to horror hosts in the early 70s, like Houlihan and Big Chuck, and then the next iteration, Big Chuck and Little John, because Houlihan left and another fellow took over for him. Superhost was another,
Right.
UHF station host that we had here, and the Ghoul.
Yeah.
And, oh my gosh! And so that was plenty. When there were some other people that came through.
There's a lot of horror hosts from Ohio, and it's like
In
wild.
general.
Yeah, because then if you go down to Southern Ohio, Columbus and Cincinnati, they had Dr. Creep, they had Fritz the Night Owl.
Son of Ghoul.
Son of Ghoul is Akron, Ohio. Yeah,
Yep.
he's still on TV.
Yeah, he's still on. He's been out
Yeah.
for like over 35 years,
Mhm.
38 now, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we had our choice, and then you had the syndicated shows like Elvira
Yeah,
and
Sven Gulli.
Sven Gulli came from
Yeah.
me way later. Yeah, I wasn't
later.
aware of him until
Yeah. Oh yeah.
About
I think
2011 or 2012 is when I
Yeah.
first saw Sven Gulli on
personally,
TV.
yeah, I didn't know anything about it.
I think that's around the time he got syndicated nationwide.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like learning like, oh, there's other characters outside of Ohio.
Right.
Oh gosh, yeah. Then we, just go on to
We were in our own little bubble here.
yeah, but
Yeah.
like you
Yeah,
said,
that's
the
awesome.
the internet opened up all that too, because what is it called, the Horror Host Graveyard? It used to be a website that used to be out.
Yeah, I think that's like still around, but
It's
I don't
still, but it
I
hasn't
don't
been
think it's been
maintained.
updated.
No, but
Yeah.
still, the database of horror hosts that are on there is pretty amazing.
I think it's so long, 10, 20 years ago, 30, 40 years ago, it was a very East Coast, thing. I think there was probably things happening in California, of course, but I guess for the rest of the states, I'm not sure. I mean, we watched PBS all the time and the public media.
There's
Oh.
so many weird ones I wish I could have seen,
Yeah.
when
We had a lot of them, but I don't know about the northern, Pacific Northwest. I think maybe Tarantula Ghoul.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, Tarantula Ghoul, I think, was from Portland. She was on television in the 1950s, and she actually put out she was no, gosh, I said that all wrong. She was in a rock band, like a rockabilly band, and she put out a 45 record. One song was Graveyard Rock, and the other side was King Kong.
Nice.
So you can find them on YouTube now.
Yeah.
We will.
He was a cool character.
She had like a vampire
The
vibe.
tarantula.
Yeah.
Ghoul.
Tarantula Ghoul.
Yeah.
Tarantula.
I think we inducted her into the Hall of
It
Fame.
was Gulida.
Oh no, Gulida.
Gulli.
Tarantula Ghoul had an interesting story because it's in the 50s, and I guess she had that sort of vampire vibe, with the long black hair.
The long black dress. Yeah.
But again, obviously, that was a look, and it worked in some markets. So other markets would replicate that, but she had her own name and own personality. But the interesting thing about her, this is like the late 50s or something, mid to late 50s, she came out. And she was only on briefly because she got pregnant out of wedlock. Oh my gosh. And the TV station was like, well, we can't have you on. It was like, it's like, really? Like, how you can get sued for that, right?
Yeah, now it's like,
Ah.
but back then it was like, oh no, you can't do that.
50s, yeah,
Right.
you know, someone named the tarantula ghoul running around being weird.
But we did actually find one of her sons, and he was nice and spoke with me on Facebook, and he's a photographer, and he's doing fine, and yeah, he has fond memories of his mom.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. But it's amazing, like once you start doing this, you know, you think you know like all the horror hosts, and then you keep
Oh,
learning
yeah.
about
Use,
things,
like,
and
graveyard terminology, you're digging up things.
yeah, you
and-
keep digging up information and learning about different
And
characters.
it is a rabbit hole, and yet
Mhm.
another rabbit hole to get into especially on the internet. I mean, it's all documented there. There's multiple
Yeah.
sites that have databases on the horror hosts out there, and lots of documentaries on YouTube and
Oh
all
yeah.
kinds of wacky stuff. But yeah,
Yeah, and it's growing. And it's a really great community we found. It's like everybody just is so helpful and very open armed. And you don't always find that. A lot of times you can find competition in certain things, but this so far we've experienced just a lot of friendship. It's really awesome. So, because we've only been doing this for a year and a half now. So
I was going to say you two are fairly new, right, to the horror hosting thing. Cool.
yeah, and we don't host full length films, so we are a little bit different. We do have short films in our show, but we do our own skits, and it started out that I'm a writer, and so I wanted to create a show that told stories, you know, and I would interview authors and read stories by them, but we wanted the horror aesthetic, and we came up with our characters, and so it was like, oh well, yeah, I guess we are horror hosts, you know, we're still hosting horror. It's just more of the literary side of it, but you know, stories are everywhere, and so it's like, oh well, we don't have to limit ourselves to authors because everybody has a story. So, yeah.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
yeah, and I think it's smart to look for some sort of angle, you know, coming into into anything actually. Even if there's two people in the business, you want to stand out or at least have a little bit of differentiation. And that's what we thought our show, besides just being a mummy and a monkey, because you know a lot of characters are more vampiric and vampire based, and that's fine. But you know, it's just there's so many but there's tons of other characters to choose from. But the interesting thing about that is that I don't think either of us, that wasn't even in our minds when we picked our characters out. You know, I had this character since '93, and you came up with yours in 2010.
Oh yeah, 2010.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, we didn't even know each other when we had these characters. I mean, it was like
Oh, that's
literally
cool.
butter and chocolate. Yeah, it wasn't just put together like, let's sit down, what should we do? You know, I was already playing around with horror hosting, gosh, since the '90s. And then then you got involved, you know.
Well, I started writing movie reviews for a friend's website, and this was around 2010, and I used the pen name Janet Decay. And then in our area, there were charity zombie walk events, so
Oh, yeah.
everyone's dressed as a zombie, and I'm like, well, what can I do different? So I made a mummy costume,
Nice.
and that's kind of what started it. Like, okay, I guess I'm a mummy now.
Exactly. For the audition for the
Yeah, and I used that
show.
same character for Daughter of the Ghoul show.
Okay,
Or Mummy and the Monkey. Yeah.
that's really awesome. I love that there's all this history behind it. So
Well, good.
yeah, do you know who dug you up, Janet? I'm
Dug me?
who dug you up?
Oh, the origin story.
Yeah.
Originally my character, and I might change it later on, I haven't decided yet. She was a silent film actress that was supposed to be on the set of some Cleopatra movie.
That's great.
The Egyptian props that were used on the set were supposed to be just props. Well, the sarcophagus was actually real and it was cursed. And does it show on the video? It does a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a closer shot, but it kind of mummified me and turned me into the mummy I am today.
Yes.
And years later, I awoke from my slumber, and Grim Gory and I met up. And the rest is history.
And so, Graham, like, were you a test subject in a lab? Were you in a zoo? Were you in a jungle in the wild? I mean, how did you come out into the world?
That's a great question and a great thought, because yes, Grimm's past is a bit murky. He's like one of these characters that's just kind of always been there in the background, kind of the freak show guy, you know. we don't know really where he's from yet. It's still malleable and questionable. But yes, the idea was initially we're going to do like an origin comic book, and I wanted to craft it so Janet's character was this actress, keep that same thing that was in the sarcophagus forever. And then fast forward to Cleveland, Ohio, there in the 1950s, that's where the pompadour and the greaser look comes from. But in the 1950s, at the same time, there's this like traveling, circus with a freak show and you see the Monkey Boy. And at the Cleveland Museum of Art, there's an Egyptian exhibit going on. And Grimm goes out for some sightseeing and gets caught up in this whole thing where it leads into the Cleveland Museum of Art. Maybe awakens you by accident because they could never unseal this thing until he gets there for whatever reason. Kind of make all that up. And then we go on some adventure from there. And we've been around since then. In the background, even auditioned to be Cleveland's first horror host back in the 50s, but we didn't get the gig. Ghoulardi happens, all the other, big, it's all kind of like a J.J. Abrams thing where you don't change anything, but you say you were there,
Yeah, you were kind of around somewhere.
We got the boot back, before the first Cleveland horror host, the successful one, Ghoulardi, who was huge in Cleveland from 63 to 66. And we don't change any of the history, but then we pop up decades later on the internet, finally figured out how to get a gig.
Yeah.
But but I'm still kind of experimenting with what Grimm's origins are.
We've had the idea for several years now to have a Mummy and the Monkey origin story comic book, but time and all that.
Yeah.
Schedule.
But busy.
Yeah.
Gotta eat.
One day we'll get it made.
Yes.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure out our origin stories too. I kind of have one, but it's like it doesn't take us all the way back to, because I'm a voodoo doll, and
but we made
an episode where that I come back to life, but how I died and who I was and everything beforehand. We don't have that down. I'm like,
I ordered her out of a magazine.
Oh, I saw that video clip. You were piecing her together.
Yeah, we saw that. We caught that
was
episode.
cute.
Show. And then we popped on the
it was on PMN.
Yeah, we threw that on.
Yeah.
oh, cool. Yeah.
And lay you on the bed piece by piece. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another video you guys did where you were reading, I think it was like Edgar Allan Poe poetry or something.
Mhm.
It was cool. I'm like, oh, a horror host character reading poetry.
Yeah.
Like I didn't would have thought of that, but it was neat to watch.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, and that's a great, like, Poe is in the public domain, so it's like there's a treasure trove.
And then another point of difference of our show, I think that's where this conversation was starting, and this little part we're talking about, is that we stream live, and that's not a lot of horror hosts specifically do that.
Well, a lot of them will live stream, but
that's different than actually
not everyone
broadcasting
will
live.
broadcast live and then be in front of the camera,
Right.
like in real time.
Yeah, there's lots.
A lot of those shows are pre-recorded, and that's fine.
And they chat on the stream.
Yeah, everyone's got their own style.
But we're sitting up here where anything can happen.
Yeah, well, and I've seen you guys have technical difficulties, and it's like, yep, that's part of it.
Open, or we're just swearing away or whatever.
Well, one time I said, well, can I? Oh, I probably.
You could say it rhymes with,
One time I said ship, but it wasn't. It was the other word.
Oh, you can say that here. Yeah, that's okay, unless you don't want to. But
I said shit by accident because we were having some technical issues, and I blurted out, "Oh shit!" and they heard that, and they're all laughing in the chat. The audience was laughing in the chat.
Ooh, the mummy said a bad word.
Yeah, yes. I go, oh no, I said ship. Oh ship.
A little bit of a running joke,
Yeah.
Pops up.
Yeah, because you guys have parents that watch with their kids.
We do. Yes, we do. So we definitely keep a lot of we don't usually swear on our show, which is
we try to keep it for most ages. There's some innuendo jokes here and there, but that'll go over the kids' heads, and the parents will get the joke.
They do that all the time in Disney and movies and DreamWorks.
Oh gosh, yeah, it's always been done.
Yeah, tons of adult humor. Nothing raunchy, but borderline sometimes. And little kids sitting there going, "Huh?" They don't even get it. And their parents are going, "Oh Lord, oh my God!" They're laughing. Laughing, Dad. Oh, forget it.
You'll understand when you're older. Yeah.
Right.
That's about, how far we go with that. And I mean, and then potty humor, the sound effects. I
Oh
put in
yeah,
movies.
fart jokes.
Yeah, lots of that.
Everyone
Lots of
loves fart jokes.
I've been accused of having too many fart jokes, fart sound effects in the movie. But,
Oh, one person wrote in that their son
oh.
said that they called our show the Fart Show,
Nice.
and they like to say the Fart Show.
I'll take that. We just might have to change the name.
That made me laugh so much. I
like that name better.
Yeah, the Fart Show.
Welcome to the Fart Show.
You do the fart 1, fart 2, instead of part 1, part 2.
Me too. And that was, and that's another cool thing about doing this gig anyway, is that the fans are actually a part of the show, in that they suggest things. Our friend and audience member Bob Ferguson, who is really a behind the scenes guy of several different horror host shows since the 70s. He somehow found us, and we've become fast friends with him and his wife. But he suggested that the fart.
Oh yeah,
part
he
too.
started calling it that, and then it kind of stuck.
Like a wet fart, it stuck, and we just are rolling with that. And so we have some very talented artistic and technical people out there. We had a few people submit openings, totally blown out.
Oh yeah, your little introduction.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't. It's just they just hey, check this out. Like, that's great. Can we use it? Like, sure. Like, it's the equivalent of sending in a picture to your favorite horror host or movie or show. You're a kid. Movie kid.
Oh
show
yeah, and then
host.
they would show like your artwork. And...
Yeah. I really like how much you guys have your audience involved. So that's really great. Yeah, you can't really do that not live though, right? You have to be live to have that kind of interaction.
If they suggest things, but then we get to do stuff on the fly. But I thought we could have a lot of the things that people have, suggested. I mean, we started doing one of my pet peeves, and it's just a me thing, is that when horror hosts, and don't hate me for this, anybody, but they'll just go to factoids, about the movie. It's just overdone, I thought. So if we're gonna do, but people like them, I know that. But I mean, you're talking about these same movies that people see over and over again. Yeah. So we thought, hey, let's shove food in our mouths and talk, because people love to hear that when you got your mouth full and you're talking. So we just came up with snack toys, it's snacks with factoids, and we had from there we had a guy who's become our snack master general, Greg Kaminsky. He now he just sends us boxes of food to snack on, and now he's our official snack provider.
Master general.
Right. So so some of the audience members become characters on the show and parts of it, so and like I said, so it's just fun. I like the spontaneity of it. I love the talking extemporaneously. We don't write anything out really.
Well, so every week I do write down notes.
Sure.
And we have an idea of what we want to talk about, but it's not like word for word. It's just sort of off the cuff.
Super loose. Yeah.
Very organic.
Yeah. Okay. So that was another question we had, was like, do you guys script or on the fly? And it sounds mostly on the fly, a little bit of notes.
Well, I was obsessed with talk radio as a kid, and there's all kinds of stuff going on in the radio in the 70s and 80s. And then Howard Stern, I was a big fan of. Art Bell, the late night talk show host, Coast to Coast AM, and all their stuff was just pretty much, as I learned this word from Howard, extemporaneous. It was just all, you had a loose idea what you wanted to talk about, and then everything is just, get the gab. And I love that, and I can, I have no problem with that. You have to shut me off.
He loves to talk.
I can talk forever.
He loves to talk.
Get me going, that's it. But that's what I like about it now. But
so before we started doing those we didn't start live streaming until 2018.
Okay.
Because of the technology didn't really get gooder.
Gooder.
It didn't really get, that's a word, right?
It's not extemporaneous.
No.
It works.
But it was.
It didn't really get good until about 2018. And then before that, we would script everything, and it would take us longer to put out shows.
Yeah, that's became a hindrance for us, actually.
Yeah, because it would sometimes take us like a month or two to get like a show out.
Yeah, the first iteration.
We were learning editing and then trying special effects, and Sometimes it would take a little bit just to write out a script.
Yeah, the first iteration of our show was called The Mummy and the Monkey. That was the name of the program.
Yeah.
And we scripted it. We have 12 episodes. We scripted them out. And so everything was scripted.
And we would just send it out to like Roku channels or public access cable, any channel that would accept it.
We did it very much in the vein of Mystery Science Theater 3000, another show I'm obsessed with. That's hosted.
Yeah, where there would be like a little storyline
Right.
going on.
And it wouldn't necessarily, that's another thing that I'm kind of weird about too, is like having stuff that relates to the movie. It's like, yeah, you know, but Mystery Science, they would do stuff like that, but then there'd be just storylines that had nothing to do with what they were watching, which I
Right.
love. I thought that's a great idea. You know, why does everything have to be about the movie?
Yeah.
Tonight's about the leeches. Let's do everything. Oh, leeches on the loose. It's like, okay, but you know, you're already watching a bad movie. You know, but anyway, I get it's a way to go, and that's fine. But sometimes, you know, what can we do?
It's,
You know,
it's entertaining.
Well,
You know?
sure.
Yeah.
As
So-
long as it's entertaining.
So we did that for those 12, but I was going to say, but it became a kind of a hindrance. It's like Janet said, it would take us like 2 to 3 months sometimes to put together one episode. Now we have a week to do it.
Yeah.
So we had a friend of ours, his name is Dino Ewelt, and he has his own channel called the Late Late Horror Show.
And he streams a lot of the old timey radio shows from like
Hours
the
of
1940s, 1950s.
Yeah.
He also has like he talks about like paranormal
Yeah,
stuff.
he's
He'll
all over
have
the
guests
place, yeah.
on. So a lot of different topics.
But yeah,
But
but
he was the first to recommend, hey, why don't you try doing a live stream?
and we're like, ooh,
We're like,
that sounds like a lot of work, you know.
Yeah.
And then, but it became us because we're like 211 episodes in our show now.
212.
Yeah. That's a
Well,
lot.
we haven't-
incredible.
We did do 12.
We did do 212
Okay, we're okay.
recently.
Sorry, push your glasses up when you say that.
Technically,
Yeah, so 212, that was close. I was off by one.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, so I mean, it's kind of lit like a creative fire under our butts where and now it's become a part of our lives too, because even
Mhm.
tonight we took the week off sort of on the fly to get some home repair stuff done we're working on. But we feel like we're missing out on something because it's become our Friday night too to hang out with the audience.
yeah, we're just so used to it, and we just love that people like get a kick out of it.
Hey.
And
Tell them the story that we got today, the email about the
oh, so we received an email from a fan who is saying that their 80-something-year-old mother watches the show with him and the kiddos or the grandkids, I think.
That's so cute.
And
She asks, like, are they going to be on tonight?
and they asked for a birthday shout out.
Yes. Well,
So
Oh,
and we'll
cool.
do that next show.
next show.
But you said that she asked, are they going to be on tonight?
Yeah, she asked
Oh,
she asked him, oh, are they gonna be on? Like every Friday night.
oh my heart. I love it.
It's so sweet.
That's great. That is
Come
nice.
on. Oh my God. But one person, if we know for sure cares about what we're doing, that's beautiful. I mean, that's
Yeah.
amazing, you know?
It melts my mama's heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a heart, so I got to eat it. But we've
My
had
little
many,
black heart is warming.
but we've received multiple emails like that, you know, over the years, and it's just
Mhm.
like, and some that are, you know, we don't talk about it here, but they're like, whoa, heavy, you know,
Mm.
you know, reeling people in from the brink and stuff. It's like, really?
Yeah, because you never know, like
You don't.
whoever's watching, a lot of people have different struggles and different things going on, and if they're watching you, maybe that's a little bit of entertainment to brighten their day. So
And it can. You never know
Yeah.
what you can, you know, how you can touch someone's life, you know, and how sometimes, I don't know. I love doing it, so I don't ever regret it, but
That's what I was gonna say, was that if you love it, that's gonna come through to other people, you know, and it doesn't matter what it is, it's just you're loving it, and whether it's a great movie or an awful movie, you know, it's the love behind it that's gonna shine.
yep, it has nothing to do with the firing squad that's standing in front of us right now. Nothing at all. No, that's the thing though, right? The extreme example is that, yeah, we're not being forced to do this. I mean, we don't really make a ton of
it's a
money. then.
passion project. We do it out of love, and we're trying to build it up, and we hope that one day it'll pay us back
Sure, yeah.
in different ways. Yeah.
Because you were talking about working, so you guys own an antique shop,
Oh.
right?
Oh, I had a brick and mortar store for 3 years, and the lease ended right before the pandemic started. So it was actually a blessing in disguise. But I switched everything to online. I have a couple online stores.
Oh, okay. A lot of people did that, and it's much cheaper.
Yeah, the overhead and then dealing with landlords and stuff like that. I think if I were to do it again, I would have to own the building
Yes.
because I had issues with the
Yeah.
people who own.
He's so quiet over here.
quiet
I think he's
back there.
dead. Might
Get
have to
lost for words.
resuscitate him again.
Are you excited about Halloween?
Oh yeah, yeah. We're
Oh, she said,
No
no,
question,
that's
right?
the
Oh,
holiday. Boy.
yeah, exactly. Could you imagine? Yeah, we're excited about the episode we're doing because we've been able to talk to our favorite horror hosts. So it's just like, oh wow, yeah. And we have some plans of like, well, our house always looks like Halloween. So, we just add to it for Halloween. And but the season has already started, and which I love driving around town and seeing those houses that are already decorated. It's like, yeah, those people are real.
I love it.
It's fun.
Yeah, so
I saw a skeleton on an older 70s Honda Trail bike in someone's yard. That was pretty cool.
that's great.
No. Yeah, there's so much creativity out there. It's like, and I feel sometimes bad, like, why aren't we doing this with our yard? I mean, those people don't, they love Halloween, and that's exactly where it all comes out.
Yeah.
I mean, they like lay their yards out with all this stuff. It's like, wow.
Yeah, we need to do that this time around.
We're a bit
Yeah,
jaded,
we say that every year. It's like we decorated our yard once, and we've lived here for 11 years or going on 12. But I
Same here.
feel like
We're
this
gonna-
year it might happen. It's just sometimes it's raining so much here that everything just gets gross and slimy and soggy. So it's like, do we really want to decorate the yard? It's just gonna get icky. So we've had a skeleton pirate coming up halfway out of the ground. We never
Yeah.
take it down. So it's, we're good with decorations if we decide not to decorate. So, how about you guys?
Yeah,
We're the same. We're pretty much,
we have some things that are up year round, and
Yeah.
then we put out more, mostly on the inside of the place here.
yeah, outside we're lame.
We actually want to make some Halloween.
Bought some chicken wire.
Yeah, we
some,
make our own decorations.
Oh,
we're gonna try
nice.
that, making,
Some mannequins and
forms out of
things.
chicken wire and clothing and stuff. So we're gonna try it. We're gonna give it a shot.
Yeah, I've seen some cool stuff that people are doing online. Like some of the ghosts they've made that are just it's really creepy. It's really great. But I don't know. I don't really have time for something that's going to take hours to make. Four jobs.
Favor the Halloween all year round.
Yeah.
It's always a part of it.
It's like a state of mind.
Mhm.
Halloween.
Yes.
All year.
Yeah, all year round. Well, it is really cool though to pull out the decorations because I'm always like, oh, I forgot about this. I haven't seen this in 3 years, or whatever. So.
Well, this year we acquired some Halloween decorations from the 30s. Those Beasel, the die cut paper ones.
Yeah, some of the antique paper decorations.
Oh, cool.
The cat ones we're keeping, and then there's some other ones that you sold.
Yeah, I've been selling a few of them because they're worth a good amount of money, and I get them kind of cheap. So
Keep the
but
ones
we're
we want,
keeping
sell the rest.
the black cat ones. Yeah, those are neat.
Very cool. Like the hunched black cat. Angry.
Oh, no, these guys are holding. They're like they're cartoony Beasels from like the cartoon cats, almost like holding instruments.
They're
Right?
like
Playing
Oh,
banjo.
okay.
And standing up, and
Yeah.
one has some stripy pants.
They're more
It's really
humorous.
cute.
Yeah, they're I believe they're from the 30s, so they're they're about I don't know about maybe 2 feet tall.
Mhm.
Pretty
Nice.
nice. And they lasted all these years.
We have to get frames. for
That's
that.
great.
Yes.
And so will you have them in your show or anything so I can look at them online on
We
YouTube?
did show them on one of our podcasts.
You
So
want to go get them?
I could try.
We can wait.
Sure.
Check the time for you guys because you're on in 20 minutes, right?
Yeah, we're not doing a show tonight. At first we were going to, but there's like, we've been working on some home repair projects that's needing more time than what we thought. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're not going to go live this week, but next week we will.
Okay, cool.
We thought, well, you know, of course we're still going to do the interview.
Oh, well, thank you very much. That's awesome. Got into character just for us.
We have lots of home repairs that we have to do too.
Awesome.
Being a homeowner.
Yeah. How long have you owned your place?
2015, 16, something like
Yeah,
that.
since about 2016.
End of 2015, so
Yeah,
whatever that.
something like that.
Okay.
Here, grab one of these.
Okay.
You the fun cats.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah.
That's great. How
And
cute.
then I got the, I don't know if you can see them okay.
Yeah.
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 And then this really cool witchy.
Oh,
Oh, that's cool.
that is really cool. So it's like it can be a mask too. It looks like.
Yes, it's a mask. It actually had another part to it. I wasn't aware of that. It was like a honeycomb part. It looks like has little like feathers or flames coming from the top of the head. But anyway, I like this part.
Yeah,
So yeah, so Halloween, yes.
that's great.
Alright. Oh, we got a pumpkin going here. We got the
The pumpkin there. So yeah,
Yes.
we've got a small collection of those little like the plastic little pumpkin.
I found a witch over the summer too. A black witch holding an
Holding a
orange
little
pumpkin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Fix that one, but I'm gonna try to get the light to work.
So yeah,
Oh,
Halloween year round here. We're always picking
Oh,
up
yeah.
stuff that's free, and you know how it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, hold on just a second.
Okay.
Now, the talent portion of the show. I love it.
Yeah, showed up. Yeah, bring the stuff I just bought today. I just bought this today, just from a pharmacy. But I was all excited. It's an oh wait. Yeah, so it's an hour. Well, and I was so excited because I was like, oh, I'll time the shows with this because we try to keep a show to an hour. Yeah, it only runs for like 10 or 15 minutes. So it won't work for the show, but I thought it was pretty cool. I got it, and it has spider webs. So
Yeah, I work actually as a product designer during the day, toys and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, and we're constantly, involved with every season, and yeah, Halloween has been ramped up. I mean, the past like 20 years.
Yeah,
But
it's just
they've
been getting
been like
bigger every
cooler,
year.
better.
Yeah.
Even the dollar stores have some really neat stuff. I mean, it's just getting better and better. The products and stuff that are coming out.
Yeah.
The new stuff like that. And the biggest, I think, splash lately were the big box stores, or like
The big 12-foot skeleton.
like Home
Oh, yeah.
Depot, and and why are they? I mean, the coolest stuff now. Giant
The
thing.
stores
Yep.
giant.
They're raising the bar. 12 feet high. They're raising the bar.
right. Yeah, Home Depot. Yeah. I was excited
fun.
because the Goodwill had their Halloween stuff out before August was even finished. It's like, ooh, cool.
Love it. Yeah, we find a lot of cool stuff at the thrift stores too. So
Jason oops, that was a slip. Bad, not bad. JuJu, J Bone makes spiders.
oh,
Oh, you made it? Wow.
Yeah, so it's metal.
metal. Nice.
It's like a steampunk goth look.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's really cool.
He's
Yeah,
all wired up.
Yep.
and this one,
And some of them light up.
yeah, this one lights up.
Clock.
Where is it? Oh yeah,
A spider clock light.
yeah. So it lights up
Awesome.
all red. So
But
Very cool. Very cool.
that's
and
cool.
there's fur and gears and yeah, it's super cool. Yeah, I gotta pet the fur.
Aw,
As
So,
it were.
cool, guys.
oh, what happened to it? Oh, it's missing a little. What are those called? Mandible.
Mandibles. And of course, I make this.
You made the hat too.
Yep.
Wow. See,
So-
I noticed with horror hosting and crafts, Like
Yes.
crafty people seem to go hand in hand, or hand
Yeah.
in glove.
Well,
Hand
and
in
your
glove.
I saw the work you were doing on your costume. And that's all hand sewn.
Yeah, one
Right.
of the versions is, and you add
Yeah,
stuff.
some of them are.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're not store bought.
Yeah.
This one is, but I've got other ones that aren't.
Yeah.
where I hand sewed it,
And
hand stitched it.
and the Grimm's face doesn't come with this beautiful pompadour.
I was wondering.
Yeah, no, it comes with like this long hair, But I've seen other people with the same, mask, and I'm like, well, I got to do something different, anyway.
Mhm.
So I'm thinking, okay, let's go for the whole, rockabilly thing. And I just, found out Elvis wig at this, this store next to us, Halloween store, sells stuff all year round. So I put like little snaps on it, rip the old hair off,
Oh,
snap
yeah.
this base on him, threw some glasses over the eyes, so it's not just eyes, and try to accentuate the character. I wish I could create stuff like I probably could learn to sculpt, but I don't know. Then I have to learn how to make latex rubber.
It's a whole
Yeah.
skill.
Yeah, and maybe someday, but I'm too old for that. But yeah, where you can, you just don't want to take something right out of a box. And we've seen other hosts do that, and it's no hate or anything, but just try to add something to it.
And like people doing different things with the outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pieces of art.
How long does it take you to get ready?
Well, it takes me about like 5 seconds. Her
Yeah.
a lot longer.
Yeah, it's new.
But the downside of this is that if I'm doing an 8-hour, 10-hour gig, I'm
Right.
doing an 8-hour, 10-hour gig.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Sometimes when we're filming, this not so much, it's more relaxing, but like when we're doing the skits and the little mini movies and stuff, he often has to take breaks because it's like you start walking around and stuff. He just wears him out. And I've done a mask once, and it's this great. We don't know who made it because he found it in a basement in a friend's.
I found it in an attic.
Oh, in an attic in a friend's old business that they were selling that has real horns on it from a real animal, and it's just this weird like demon mask, tongue sticking out and stuff, but it's paper mache.
Yeah.
And it's heavy because of the horns. But we kind of the inside was falling apart. So the first time I was wearing it, I was breathing in this like degrading latex. So he fixed it. But it's just like, I mean, I can only do a couple minutes at a time before I'm just like, I can't breathe. It's just like starting to walk around and just their masks are difficult. So it takes me about a half an hour to get ready now. At first, it took me an hour because I couldn't make my hair. It's usually the hair, but I finally figured out the trick. Hairspray first.
I like the bouffant.
Thanks. Yeah. So it was an accident. I was like, I wonder what will happen if I put in hairspray first, and that totally did the trick. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to try that.
Me too.
And contacts before eyeliner, the eye makeup, just weird little things like, yeah. So you can't see my contacts very well, but I have purple contacts. So I used to have red, but I started having problems with them. They started hurting. So same brand.
I haven't been wearing the contacts because allergies and sinus stuff, and it was just irritating my eyeball. So I went and traded in my eyeball for one that matched. So.
Yeah. So that's a glass eye or something. Or is it a real, you go find a victim and take their eye for the night.
It's a real eye, right? Yeah, exactly.
Amazon.
There you go. Oh, yeah. There you go.
I have my eyes in a jar in the medicine cabinet for whenever I need them.
There you go. It's pop those stickers in.
Make sure they're moisturized.
And not grapes. Oops.
Or wait, no, what is that? I have my father's eyes
There you go.
in a jar.
Oh, yeah.
No. I don't believe in a goodie. I love that.
So going back to like the sound effects, have the sound effects been since the beginning, or like how did you guys?
Oh yeah, I mean, well,
Well, since about when we started doing the live streams, I would say.
they're in the other movies too, I believe. Yeah, I just
Season 2 is
I don't remember.
so maybe
Yeah,
about 2016,
right, but
2017
but
is
that,
when you started that.
yeah, and a lot of our, and again, I mean, it's hard to create something brand new, and a lot of our shows are inspired by other horror hosts and other things, external sources, influences. So there was talking about the Ghoul again, and Ghoulardi even before the Ghoul, they would insert sound effects and themselves into the movies, and that's where that. So our show is like, homage, which is a nice word for ripoff, right? It's no, it's inspired by in different spots, different, but it's sort of an amalgamation. It's not just like one. No, well, I use ones, yeah, ones I make, ones that I get from talk shows and TV talk shows like Maury Povich and Jerry Springer. Some of the best things
Trash TV.
forever. Sound bites are forever. You can never get
Yeah.
run out of those. Movies and things like that. And gosh, who knows, where I get stuff, where I got stuff, I don't know.
One of our fans even made some sound effects for us.
Yeah,
Oh,
and then one
nice.
guy gave me a whole one of our fans, our neighbor. Yeah, he made some, but yeah, and one fan came up to us at Akron Comic Con a couple years ago, gave me this whole thumb drive full of stuff he pulled. So it's like, hey, cool.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
They're just constant, and it's like weird. Just like people know you're into stuff, and like, hey man, let me hook you up. I'm like, yeah, bro, what you got? These sound effect. I'm like, oh, okay. But yeah, it's cool. It's
Cool.
like different from the '60s, They would do that, if you're a rock star, you get hooked up with other stuff. Not horror hosts, just sound effects and
I'm good with that.
and snacks. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'm good with that.
Sound effects.
That's our scene. That's our scene,
Yeah. Yeah. You don't have to have like, I don't know, you don't have to come up with something, fireworks and all that stuff. It just takes a little bit of creativity and
That's fun, yeah.
I just forgot what I was going to ask. You asked something. I'm going to try to remind myself. I have too many questions going on in my head at once. Sorry. We can edit this. That's a good thing about our show. Is we can edit.
Chop it up later.
We'll do that at the end.
Which is coming up because we've almost an hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, really?
It
Oh,
is.
wow.
Oh gosh,
Wow.
yeah. Okay, so this might be a tough question. Do you have a favorite horror host?
A favorite?
I do.
Who's your favorite?
I do. And okay, so I'm not going to say the obvious ones because but I'm someone more contemporary. There's a fella who I love his show. His name is Uncle Gregory. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He's maybe done, I don't know how many episodes. He might have done maybe 12 episodes, I think.
There's videos of him on YouTube.
But you can look him up on YouTube.
Their channel.
Yeah, but they haven't showed him in a while. But he's on YouTube. This guy is amazing. It's like if Zachary, which is the East Coast guy, who was very, very good, from the 50s and 60s. John Zachary. But this guy,
Janet, for some reason, we're losing your sound when you're talking. Can you scoot the computer closer? Yeah, something's going on. Okay.
The mic is right there, yeah?
Okay.
Yeah, so
cool.
Zachary was the first horror host on the East Coast. He started out around the same time as Vampire in the 50s.
Oh, yeah.
New York, New Jersey area.
Yeah, but I easily say the Cleveland people that I grew up watching, who I do love a lot. But recently it's this, even though this guy hasn't made episodes in years, and like I said, he only made maybe 12 of them, as far as I know, altogether. But the stuff I've seen of his, if you can look it up on YouTube, you tell me what you think sometime. He just gets it. He has a Zachary type of gaunt makeup, and he's just very kind of over the top. And I just think what he does is brilliant. It's just really funny. I wish he would do more stuff. We were trying to get a hold of him, but we can't get a hold of that.
fan page on Facebook, but it looks like he hasn't posted anything in like 8 years or something.
But he's
So I
still,
think he just gave it up or something, but the character was great.
I love it. But so he might be one of my favorites, contemporary favorites. But who's
But
your
like
favorite?
old school favorite? So do you have old school and then contemporary,
Well,
like newer?
You got to give all the props to Goulardi, from the '60s. Even though I didn't grow up watching it, the stuff I have seen
He started in
all the
Northeast Ohio.
and all the stories that we've heard, and to this day, we'll wear a T-shirt with the Goulardi logo, which is very iconic around here. Even Drew Carey wears it on his show.
Yeah.
Wore it on his show when he had it on there. We watch people in their 70s. They'll look at the shirt, and their whole face just goes like they've turned a 12-year-old or a 10-year-old. You
Wow.
really do see this. They're like, oh my God. Like, and then they want to know how you know it because you're not that old and blah, blah.
But we know the history of
But
it.
you could see them go back in time.
Yeah, their face lights
Yeah.
up.
That's
So
great.
he set the stage for the Cleveland horror hosts. So I would have to say Goulardi was my favorite. Is my favorite over day.
Gosh, it's hard to pick just one.
Yeah.
It's like Lay's potato chips. You can't just eat one.
Right.
Like,
You have to eat all the horror hosts.
like watch them all.
Ah, okay.
There's that.
Watch them all. Yeah.
There's so many. But if you had to
Yeah,
pick one, I mean,
that's really
and
tough.
all their episodes are available too. It's not like there's only 18 minutes of this one. Because the Goulardi stuff, the sad thing, there's not even one episode of this guy's show around. There's 18 minutes of various footage that exists from this show because they just taped over everything and threw everything out.
Mhm.
So that's the sad thing. But even
Yeah.
though,
Watching them, I probably say Big Chuck a little time.
yeah, I mean,
Okay.
yeah,
They were, and they're not. They were movie hosts, and they did show some scary movies, but they weren't like your typical horror hosts. They didn't wear
No.
costumes, but they did tons of funny and creative skits on a very low budget. They
Mhm.
were they were really good about making these really funny, goofy skits and dressing up as different characters and things like that. So, yeah, I think that.
Yeah, we were talking the other night with some folks, and it's like if you think about it, like Rod Sterling and like Alfred Hitchcock, those were kind of like you could almost count them as horror hosts too.
well, Rod Serling was inducted into the Horror Host Hall of Fame this year with us as well. So
Yeah.
we're in really good
Oh,
company
nice.
there.
Oh, I said Sterling. I meant Sterling.
Well, that guy, different guy. Yeah, he's a jewelry guy up on the Fifth Street.
Yeah. That's where my brain was going. Do you have anything? Okay. What was the worst movie you've ever had on your show?
That's easy. That's easy.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah, I
The
mean,
Beast of
Well-
Yucca Flats, for sure.
the Beast,
Beast of Yucca.
Yeah, and we emphasize yuck,
Yucca Flats.
yucca pooey.
And Tor Johnson was also in Plan 9 from Outer Space. He's like the real big guy.
Which isn't a bad movie.
No, that's actually a really good movie compared to Beast of Yucca Flats.
Oh God.
But that movie's really hard to get through.
Yeah,
Oh.
It's very difficult.
no matter who's making fun of it, like even when Mystery Science Theater showed it, it's a groaner. I think
Yeah.
that's definitely up there. And there's another one, Monster a Go-Go or something that's really bad, but we never
Mhm.
showed that. But yeah, Beast of Yucca is the worst.
Plan 9 is like
Oh.
perfection compared to that.
Yeah. Plan On is not a bad movie.
Yeah, it's cheesy, but it's like made with heart, and it's very likable and entertaining.
I was
even though it's
I was thinking about it the other day. It's like, people confuse bad with boring. Plan
Yeah.
9 might be a bad movie, like badly made,
but
but
it's
it's
still
not.
enjoyable.
But it's not boring.
Right. Yeah.
You
Beast,
can
a movie like The Beast of Yucca Flats is bad and boring.
And
Both.
boring.
There's no redeeming value in Beast of Yucca Flats, but gosh, every scene in Plan 9 is amazing. Stupid, stupid, stupid. Come on.
And what's well, this is gonna be a loaded question too, but what's the best movie you've shown? Like one of your favorite movies that you've shown?
I'm thinking one of those indie movies.
Yes, I think
Yeah.
we have talked about this. Yeah,
We almost did this as a straight to video thing. We didn't put it on Facebook because it's It had some nudity and some gore and just
What movie is it?
Brides of Satan.
Oh, that one was just recently, yeah.
we hosted it because an indie filmmaker approached us named Joe Bizarro. He made the movie Brides of Satan. He's working on a few others right now. But he really was like, I like you guys. I really want you to host my movie. But we watched it and it was a good movie. But I'm like, we can't show this on YouTube. Well,
No.
how would you
Oh.
take it?
And the movie would only be like 5 minutes long.
Everything out, it'd be a
I
short.
think it starts out with blatant, like just strippers, basically, you know.
Oh,
Stripping strippers, not like, you
Yeah.
know, whatever, felt like a, you know, a little bit of like cheesecake. Yeah.
It has redemption. She's so it's an entertaining movie, and it was some of the scenes and the way it was shot are done really well. So I think I'm gonna say that.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
I think mine might have been another direct-to-video thing. We did actually show it for a Halloween special. Hooked up with a fella, J.R. Bookwalter, who's an Akron guy, right? And he started making films when he was 18 in the early 90s, and he made a movie called The Dead Next Door. And the interesting thing about this movie is that it was funded, kind of like shadow funded, by Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi.
Oh.
And it's funny because they're not in the movie, but Bruce's voice is, he overdubbed the lead character's voice, and it's Bruce. You know, I mean, you know that voice. You know, like he's waiting for him to say groovy, but he doesn't.
yeah.
But it's actually shot very well, especially for a student. You know, a film student. You're like, yeah, you could see where he might have learned this, but he does it very nicely.
Yeah.
And the movie's got tons of great practical effects. Not one CGI effect in this movie.
Oh, that's great.
Zombie movie.
Yeah. And a fun gore, and again, it's interesting movie, a good script, and it was just like we get to show this. Yeah. But we got to air it, and we even had a little bit of a deal worked out with them where we could sell the movie that we host, you know, and give them a cut, that type of thing.
Yeah, we've lost Janet's audio completely
For some reason.
How was that?
That's weird. We're both sitting here.
Oh,
Yeah,
there.
I love it.
Yeah, it's when you lean back. I think it just for some
it's
reason
forward,
cuts out. Yeah, I don't know. It's
I'm sorry.
Sit up.
no,
sit
that's
Oh, there it
okay.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could see your mouth moving, but we were only getting like bits and pieces, so that was weird.
Sorry.
I
Okay.
wish I could have that effect around the house sometime. Like only just see your mouth move.
Oh goodness. Well, you
Oh,
know,
you have to sleep sometime, buddy.
I know, right? I gotta sleep on the couch.
I haven't talked to my wife in 7 months. I didn't want to interrupt her.
Oh,
Yeah.
but
I love it. Love it. I keyed.
I know.
And so you have a couple other characters that show up in your show.
We do. We have it's another thing we like to try to do is but again, it's emulating some of the shows that we grew up with, the horror hosted shows, because they too would do the same thing. They had multiple characters, and they would do skits, and then we have characters that would be on the show as well.
Yeah, so we have Cliff Jablonski, our little devil guy, the puppet.
Yeah.
Then for our skits, we have several characters like Stasha from the Old Country.
Yeah.
She's it's a throwback to like the Big Chuck and Little John skits, where Big Chuck would dress as the character Stash or Stanley, and
Oh,
you know, he was a Polish guy from Parma, Ohio, so he would kind of tease that a little bit, kind of make fun of it,
But he was Polish.
But he
Chuck
was-
Shanowski. I mean,
yeah, he was Polish, and after a while, they started calling them certain ethnic skits.
yeah, they in the beginning in the late 60s, early 70s, there are skits that say the Polish whatever, and there's a big Polish community in Cleveland that lives in Parma, which is like a Svengoolie's Berwyn. I mean, a lot of Svengoolie's stuff is sort of because the original guy who did it, Jerry Bishop, worked here in Cleveland, and when you went to go, oh yeah, by Goulardi and Houlihan and Big Chuck, and even some of the sound effects that Svengooley uses to this day are from Cleveland. They're actually from radio shows where Big Chuck took them and made them, you know, isolated the sound, and there's a laugh that they use, which is weird to hear on Svengooley. But because we grew up with it. Oh yeah.
We grew up with Big Chuck. using that.
they used to end every skit with this particular laugh that was done by a guy, a local DJ, and Chuck thought it was a funny laugh, so he isolated it, and they would use it at the end of every skit. So, fast forward like 30 years later, I'm watching Svengoolie and I hear that same laugh. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute,
Yeah.
But then I had to learn the whole history of why it got to be that way. And it makes sense. And it's fine. I mean, it's, it's just, everybody shared stuff.
They were borrowing from one another.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Nastasha from the old country
character.
skit or character and skits. It's a throwback to the certain ethnic skits that we grew up watching. And,
Yeah.
That's why she's Stasha from the old country.
yeah. And I am part Polish and,
So that.
and Middle Eastern, weird mix, but yeah. So I'm like, okay, I'm Polish enough. I guess I could do that.
Oh,
But
great.
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was say Cliff Jablonski, another Polish guy, Polish demon.
I guess.
But which I thought I was being funny because I did, but then I totally forgot about Mike. What's from Monsters Inc.
Oh,
I
Mike
don't.
Mike Wazowski.
Mike
Wazowski.
Wazowski.
And I love that movie, and I didn't even think about that when I tried to give it. But that was again an homage to the whole Cleveland, Parma thing. But anyway, Cliff was interesting because I found him at a yard sale for 50 cents.
Oh,
It is an original puppet. Somebody made this puppet, and I'm like, wait. I said, what is this? She goes, oh, it's my brother made it. And this woman said, yeah, my kids hate it. They're afraid of it. I said, how much is it? I thought they were gonna say 20, but 50 cents. I'm like, ugh.
oh, what?
I know. I said, so what's the name of this guy? And again, he's totally handmade. It was like original puppet. I said, what's his name? She goes, I don't know. He didn't have a name. And I said, what's the name of the guy that made it? She said, his name is Cliff, my brother. I'm like, well, Cliff it is. And I just threw on the Jablonski.
So we named him Cliff.
And he's become a beloved part of the show.
Right.
Yeah.
And where does your music come from? Do you have people that make music, or do you make it yourself?
Well, I wrote the theme song for both of our shows. The original, the Mummy and the Monkey show, and then the Hairy Scary Hangout. I tinker with that a little bit. And then we don't really play background music on our shows because of issues with copyrights, unless we write it or do
Some
something.
music we get like from YouTube because
Right.
they have some songs you could play that are okay to use. Yeah, some of it you made.
And the polka stuff, unless it's Frankie Yankovic, it doesn't get dinged by YouTube.
Every thrift store seems to have old-timey polka
Tons,
albums, and some of
especially here in
them
Cleveland.
are made by like, some mom and pop company from like the 1950s that's long gone.
Mhm.
Some of it's like in Polish,
So it's kind of public domain, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of polka music, and for some of the movies you cut in polka music
Yeah.
just because we.
But it's a throwback to the stuff that
Yeah.
the Ghoul used to do that. He put
Mhm.
sound effects and use a lot of Polish music. And again, that was a throwback to Ghoularity. So everybody sort of, kind of borrows from each other. But and continue. We're just trying to continue these things that we thought were funny and interesting, but put our own spin on it. And not be totally a clone, but incorporate different influences.
And Northeast Ohio is very diverse, but in the 1960s, 1970s, some neighborhoods, like Parma, Ohio was very,
It was a Polish.
it was a very Polish community.
Yeah.
So a lot of people at the time would kind of tease about that. And yeah, they would just make jokes and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, cool. I think we've gone over an hour, so I don't know how you guys feel.
Overtime pay, right?
We're good. You guys
Yeah, we're good.
wanted to talk about?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Did you guys think you covered everything that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, we
You wanted us to talk about?
Our
You
list.
were talking. I can't even hear you.
Can you hear me okay?
Repeat the whole
Yeah,
last time.
yeah. I'm sorry, I'm looking down. I have a note.
Okay.
Sorry, that wasn't obvious what I was doing. I'm just making sure. What's your favorite monster? We have to know that.
Cookie monster.
And of course, it's like you get 10 of them popping up in your mind, right?
Ooh, that's a toughie.
And you're
Oh.
not limited to just public domain monsters either, so.
Right, thank God. Thank Godzilla we're not. Favorite monster?
Maybe Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah, he's pretty
Oh,
cool.
And then like
That's
the
okay.
Mummy second. 'Cause of course I love the Mummy
Of
movie,
course. Yeah.
but the creature's pretty darn cute. And I love that the creature was designed by Millicent Patrick, who was the first female to work for Universal and the first monster designer in Hollywood
Yeah.
that was female.
Oh, that's great. That's good to know. I don't think I knew that. I might have at one time, but it left my mind. But
If you look at the credits for Creature from the Black Lagoon, Bud Westmore got all the credit. He actually took her designs and then fired her. There's a whole book about her, and it's called "The Lady from the Black Lagoon," about her life. And she worked for Disney prior. It's a whole thing, but she was a cool lady, and I love. It makes me love the Creature from the Black Lagoon even more.
nice. I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I mean that's a tough one for me. King Kong, I guess. I mean, right? That's
King
really what we
Oh.
But I love yeah, and here in Cleveland too, and some other places did this too, like Chicago did it, and I think somewhere in New York, or New Jersey, they did it. But on Thanksgiving in the late late 70s, early 80s, they would show King Kong, the original King Kong, on Thanksgiving night. Not sure why, but they did.
Yeah.
And others, unfortunately, I wish our station, Channel 43, did that here. They did show King Kong, but other stations, when I did some research, they would, after King Kong, they would have Son of Kong, and then like 3 Godzilla movies, like
They would do like a whole marathon.
all night on Thanksgiving night. It's like, that's really cool. I was happy with just King Kong.
Yeah.
But and we still watch it every Thanksgiving
Monster
here too.
movies and Thanksgiving. I mean,
I love it. It's just I don't know.
combination.
It works for me.
Yeah, my Thanksgiving was Twilight Zone. We don't there was always a
Marathons.
Twilight Zone
Yep.
marathon. So, but the
Yeah.
Godzilla movies for me too. Big monsters, Godzilla. But I love Bela Lugosi's Dracula. So
Oh, come on. I mean,
That's
Yeah.
a classic.
we had a thing on our show once. It was, is it Bela or is it Boris Karloff? Like, who's your favorite? Like,
Bela versus Boris.
yeah, and I chose Bela because he's
I chose Boris. I chose Carla.
oh,
more. I love Boris Karloff, but I like Bela.
yeah.
Home, I have no home. Hunted, despised. The jungle is my home.
That's a good impression.
I love Bela, of course. I don't dream. Why? He's good. I know he's the same character no matter what he does, but it's something about him.
There's a vampire or the mad scientist in like every movie he's in.
But he always knows
Yeah.
magic. Yeah, he's like a hypnot. And it doesn't matter what movie, he could like do some kind of weird hand thing, and
Yeah.
people lock up,
He,
or they, yeah, they do some weird.
oh, we're losing you again. I don't know why.
He was able to do the weird like double jointed thing.
Oh,
with
yeah.
his hand.
But
Yeah,
he would do
it
that.
just looked really cool.
But then they had some kind of magic, like in White Zombie, he was doing all. But he was a voodoo guy in there. But in Bride of the Monster, like he's a scientist in one of his last movies, and he's doing that weird stuff again. Like he could do some kind of voodoo on people. I just thought it was kind of weird about him.
His own magic, I guess.
Don't
Yeah.
forget, I control people all the time, this guy.
Yeah.
I don't know, just thought it was interesting.
And one more question. I guess this would be the last question. If there were any movie, including not in the public domain, that you could do on your show, what would it be?
Any movie? at
Any
all?
movie. No limits.
Probably King Kong, right?
Oh, that would be,
Like a
that would be
universal
cool.
type of
Yeah,
thing.
almost any Universal flick would do,
Or one
except
of
for
the Hammer movies.
except for the Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. That was terrible.
Oh yeah, that one's bad.
You got to listen, like, what the heck was it? They wasted this whole
It was
movie
good.
on, and it didn't do it, and it was horrible, and ended
Yeah.
horrible. It was bad.
Or maybe one of the Hammer films.
Hammer
like,
film, yeah,
maybe
it
like
was
what was
Hammer.
like Curse of the Mummy. I saw one recently that was really good.
Oh, the one with was anyone? No one was in it, like Peter Cushing.
No,
No,
it was a bunch of. It wasn't.
I think it might have been Curse of the Mummy or something like
It
that.
was Curse of the Mummy.
That was a good one.
Weird.
Beautiful costumes and props.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
their
yeah.
blood and special effects are kind of hokey, but
Oh, but
everything else is amazing with them. Yeah.
Oh, great.
So a hammer, yeah.
Yeah, probably something
Hammer
like
throw.
that. Like a
Yeah.
gun.
Yeah, the Gorgon or something like that.
Ooh, that would be cool.
Yeah. Nice. Well, thank you so much. I think that wraps it
perfect.
up. That was a lot.
Thanks for having us, yeah.
Yeah. Oh gosh, thank you so much for coming. And but we will have you do one more thing, and you already know how to do this. Is take us out with and the like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. We usually have our guests do that. So
Okay.
but I'll do a wrap up first. So this has been Bad Juju
And J Bone.
with the Mummy and the Monkey. Take us out.
Oh, okay. You guys can follow us if you like on our social media pages. We have our YouTube channel. Our website is themummyandthemonkey.com. It has all of our contact information. Follow JuJu and J Bone also. And yeah, good night, good fright, everybody. Yeah.
And we'll see you at the hangout.
Yay! Thanks.